Hey, how you guys doing? It's a nice fall day here today. So the job I'm at, there's some few issues with the drawings not matching up with what's actually there. So I just got a few days to wait till I figure out that. So I got a few days of work on my crane here. So it's a Liftmore L21 truck crane made in Houston, Texas. So that scoped all the way in. When you run double cable, the block can double up the cable. It's rated for 2,000 pounds. And then you scope this all the way out to its third extension. Single line, it's rated for 1,000 pounds. It's got a Warren electric winch on it. So the boom angle and extension is manual. And the swing is manual, but it's got two big tapered roller bearings in the swing head there. And then you turn that band brake to lock your swing. And then it's got the electric winch, so it's pretty simple, but it's pretty sweet. And let's check out how I'm going to try and mount this thing. So I am going to use a stabilizer leg. So that's a jack stabilizer leg off of an old light plant. I'm going to use that. And I'm going to add another cross member. And that's going to be the receiver tube for my jack leg. That's an extra plate that's going on top. That's going to tie into my new cross member, and then the 3/8 plate that's already on the back of my truck. And then that's just a miscellaneous steel I'll use for frame brackets and gussets and things. So the frame, it's going to mount right here. I have the line scribed already. I had this mocked up on my truck. So it's going to go here. But that 3/8 plate is going to extend out far enough. When I put that new cross member underneath, I'm going to plug weld that 3/8 plate through all this, and it's going to plug weld into that cross member set, so it's all tied together. So the top plate I'm adding on ties into that cross member, and then we'll have 3/8 plus 3/8, so that's 3/4. So I'll have a 3/4 inch thick of steel, 2 layers of 3/8 to drill and tap through to bolt my crane on. Ooh. The cross members in this truck are not real heavy duty. They're like 3/16 form channels. And then, I don't know, it looks like the old ones started to sag one time just over the years. So then at one point in time I welded 3/8 by 2 flat bars across front and back here, just stepping it up. So I'm not going to trust that for having a big cantilever 2,000 pound load hanging off the side of this deck. So right ahead here, because there's an angle iron for my mud flaps. So right ahead of that, I'm going to run that channel across. And it's just going to go, just past the frame on the opposite side. And then right into here on this side. And then I'll run a bracket down and a bolt into that bolt hole on the frame, both sides. And then I'll probably have a gusset there. Or see right here, there'll be a hole here somewhere. Then right here will be the receiver tube for my jack leg. And I'll probably even just put a square plate from there to that cross member to box them in. I'm having gusseted together, but I'm going to have that tube structured to the channel, plug weld it through to that plate. And that's what I'm going to do for structure for this crane. So I don't know if I'll be able to weasel that in one piece or what, or if I'll get it done right now, but it's a good time to get a look at things anyways. All right, I was able to find one 3/4 inch bolt that's all thread short, so that would be perfect for that side for the big slot in the frame. Made a template, traced her out. Nice. So put that cross member in there. It was rubbing on there pretty hard. I think it might have bent that up a bit. Look, it dented that. I had to beat her in with a 20-pound sledge. The last 3/4 of an inch, I didn't think I was going to get it. This whole thing was just bowing, but I got her in, sits to the top. Got that big 3/4 inch bolt in there, so it's nice and tight in that slot. Vert weld, right? I could have put the channel the other way. I would have had more chance to get weld on this side, but I put it this way because I don't know. I thought maybe I'd have a better time keeping dirt cleaned out of it. I don't know. I decided to put it this way. So there, gonna gusset, big bolt. Then on top, I drilled holes to plug weld down. Because there's 2 layers, I just threw a piece of 12 gauge over the existing crappy sheet metal that was on top of that. So you see in there, it's like a good solid 1/2 inch of dirt, look. From there to there, and it's bulged up here, so I'll see if I can get this plate fit down good on top. But I basically did this so I can get like a pillar of weld in there. So the top plate I put on is connected to that cross member, not just connected to this and having that air gap in there. So basically it's kind of not the best, but yeah. I plugged weld, so I got have pillars of weld going down to that cross member. So this top plate's directly tied to that cross member, not just on top of this plate. Okay, there's a 3/8 plate, right? So the crane will set in here. I'll drill through both 3/8 plates and then tap it, because that's 3/8 plate. So that'll be 3/4 inch of steel for my bolts. I didn't really put any time into laying these out. I kind of just freeballed it, but there's the channel cross member, so it's gonna be solid weld right to there. There's that hole and there's that hole. So yeah, I'll clean the paint off this, weld those up, get a perimeter weld, and that'll be good for that. And then cut a hole in the side for the receiver. And I still got to put a bracket on the other side to bolt that cross member to the frame. So cool. I welded it all with this little Power Arc 200 STI. Everlast, impressive. I had it at, I only got like a 20 amp 220 breaker in the garage, and I was ripping 160 amps trying to burn those plug welds in, and never tripped the breaker. So here we go. Kind of a dip there, so I tried to pre-pass in there. This is the spin stuff here. And then maybe that's going to show up, but 135 amps at the Power Arc. 532. Here again, 532 7018. One pass at 140 amps with the old Power Arc STI. Cool. So I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to get a coat of black paint on there, get a coat of any little chips that are out of the welder, or any paint touch-ups here. The black, so I'm going to clean up this whole side, get a coat of black on her. That's the joys of not knowing when you're going to get called back to work at any moment. So you always kind of be ready to go at any moment in time. So I'll get that all painted up. I can drill the holes after that, whatever. Yeah, I'll paint that, and then I'll start working on the cross member, the bracket to the frame on the other side, on the driver's side. Oh, well, there's that. Little touch-ups here and there. Perfect. Okay, so on the passenger side, there's a bracket. I was able to get in from behind because this box is at an angle to have clearance for the fuel hose, so there's more room to lay down in the back, reach in all I could reach. Get a weld up there. It's welded on. The weld looks not too bad, but whatever. As good as it needs to be. It doesn't need to look good, just got to be good. So there's that plate. Bolt it up. Oof. There's that cross member. And of course, back to this side. So I've got a nice cross member tied in. Right. Plug weld it through the top. So that plate It's attached to that cross member. And then we've got the original cross member behind it with the 3/8 by 2 piece welded to it. So this area should have a ton of structure. Then there's the 3/8 plate, and the back is the whole back skirt. So if you're going to bend that, well, okay. So my receiver tube's going to weld along here. You can't see it, but there's a 3/8 by 2 angle going up here. So that's going to weld onto here. So I just drill some holes here crudely. We'll cut that out and get that receiver tube slid in there. Okay. So that welds to that. And that's welded fairly solidly up to that back cross member. I was going to put a piece in there, but at this point I don't really see it being necessary. So there's that. This is just still a bit seized up. I got to take the cap off and clean that up. I could have left that square tube out to here. Could have left that tube out to there and had like a pinhole. I didn't even realize until after that that pin actually would have worked out. But it would look uglier. I don't know. It's a cleaner look having this flush mounted. So initially I had it, so this crane was at 2.5 inches farther forward. But then with that, let's see how I banged it here. Ain't touch on it. So with that in certain positions, and it still does, that's in a backward position, banged into that. So I think just for clearance between there and there, I'll put it back as far as I can. And that'll also help me with reach out behind the truck. It cramps up a little bit more here, but it's a give and take, right? So yeah, I had it before mocked up ahead farther, but I think I'm going to run with that. So I'll transfer punch it there, and I wish I had a mag drill, but I don't. So we'll see about drilling, tapping those holes. See, I go right to the edge and right to the back there, so I'll be okay. Okay, so I pre-drilled a pilot hole, 3/16 pilot hole. I think, what is it? 27/64 is tap drill size for 1/2 inch bolts. So I'm going to drill these 27/64. Accidentally drilled this one right through. Ooh, I can see daylight underneath through my toolbox because there was a top skin on this toolbox that I drilled through, but I'll just have to patch that with something. Okay, 4 holes drilled and tapped by hand, the hand drill, and then tapped by hand. They're not exactly straight, but they should be good enough. You see those 2/3 plates are pretty tight together. We've got a solid 3/4 of thread there, so awesome. I'll see if I can round up some bolts and stand this thing up. Yeah, it fits. No problem at all. So I think it's too cold out this evening to bother doing any painting, so I'll have to wait till tomorrow afternoon when it warms up, but cool. I got I have to get a winch control or figure out a winch control. I did hook the winch up to power and it does work, but I need the 4-wire controller that plugs into there to get that. All right. Things are getting exciting now. Heck yeah. Okay, in between my welder and my cabinets, I got that frame that goes right in there. See, the rivets are just sitting there. I'm gonna rivet the top, weld the bottom, and then I got this aluminum panel that slides in just to close that off. See here, it slides in there, and then down here I put these angle irons on each side, and I ramped them like that, so the door should easily just slide right down there. Okay, so there's that back cabinet closed in. Then when I want to get to my regulators or whatever, I just slide it open, and then the hose is going to run behind here. So Yeah, simple, perfect. So I added this battery switch. This wire here is live. It goes from the positive on my truck batteries, and I have a bus fuse at the batteries. So that was always live to here from a compressor, electric start. So I added this battery switch. So off is all power off. 1 is crane power, 2 is compressor power, and 1 and 2 is crane and compressor power at the same time. So that's sweet. So when I run the crane, boom, crane power only, compressor power only. Really rocking and rolling and lifting and air compressing. 1 and 2, everything has power, so that's awesome. So the power just runs through this tube. I got it coming out in the hole on the side and the back. And then here you go. You ready? Whoa. That fits on there just nice. So I just left the wire there, left it long enough that you could spin it around 180 degrees. Pigtail connector, because how it was, I think the power wire went in there, went down through the pedestal, but that's too much racket, not worth it. Let's run the external wire there. Here's the wire for my remote. I did waste a lot of time trying to wire the remote up because I didn't know what I was doing, but then I went to where I got my remote from and looked at this simple wiring diagram for a 3 and 4 wire setup. Turns out I had 3 wire setup, and boom, in minutes, after a bunch of time wasted, I got it wired up. So good to go. There's the receiver hitch hole, and then there's the receiver for my jack leg. Let's get this thing stretched out and let's see what she can do. So here's a remote I got, very sweet, magnetic. Down, up, sweet. And it's got 2 boom angle positions, this being the lowest boom angle, and this being the highest boom angle. And it's got 3 extensions, 3 spots, 1, 2, 3, all the way in, middle, all the way out. So the boom down and all the way out, you can lift 1,000 pounds. You'll see in the load chart that it goes down to a little over 800 pounds, but that's for the optional longer extension this one doesn't have. This one here is the minimum, it's 1,000, and then all the way in and up with a double block. I have a snatch block ordered, I just don't have it. All the way in and up, that's 2,000 pounds. So that's pretty sweet. Here's my jack. Pretty sweet. So the boom down and in all the way. The hook hits right dead center of my deck, so that's sweet. That and that channel is actually loaded for putting on my Lincoln 305G Ranger welder. And if I could load and unload that 305G by myself, that'd be huge, because I got a cart that goes on. You got into construction sites and building sites where space is limited. I got to bring my 305G. If I can load and unload that onto my cart myself, that would be awesome. I don't have it with me, but I do have something to try. Okay, here's a 305G welder cart. It worked for the job I built it for, but the wheels need severely upgraded. It's narrow enough that I can fit through doorways in a building. It's real great. So here, the Shopmaster 300. I don't know how much this weighs, but it's all copper winding. It's heavy enough that you can't move it around or pick it up by yourself. Like, it's heavy. Moving this thing around requires come along and effort. So let's see if we can pick this up with the crane and load it on the back. It'd be like a simulation of loading my 305G. Okay, I've not tried to lift it. This is the first lift. Let's see if we can get you guys set up. Okay, without too much struggling and trying to get it back on, the casters are all messed up, so I'll get that back on. But that in itself was incredible. Now I was being slow and careful because it's manual swing, so there's just that there, that's a band brake to stop the swing. So I was being very, very careful because this driveway is on a hill, so I didn't want the weight of that welder to swing forward and smash into my welder. So that's why I went up, locked it, got up between it, carefully put it on, but lifted it up like nothing. So the fact, seeing that, I know I can love my 305G, and that's incredible. Another feature I can do when this is boomed up and extended out, it reaches to here, probably on the second extension. I can change bottles, which I know is very frowned upon, but I can have just a little lifty cap made to lift bottles, whoop, set them on there and put them in place. And I'm hoping it's long enough to pick up my compressor, but I might have to make an extension for that. So at first, of course, I was thinking of all the ways this crane could help me on the job site. But then once I got it on there, I realized all the benefits it can have just getting stuff on and off the truck or just around home. It's awesome. Massive upgrade. I was never gonna put a crane on this truck. I was gonna build and like wait till I built my new deck, a great big deck with a big crane on it, but who knows when that's gonna happen. So I found this one. I think it'd be perfect, and I got it rigged up, so I'm super stoked about it. So with the boom down all the way in, I was concerned about how close it would be to the vise. And it's actually swung in. It can actually swing out a little bit to give me a little more room, but there's just enough room to pick that up by. So, no, that's adequate. Heck yeah, man. So all the way up and out, facing to the back, I get about 10.5 feet to the hook. With the hook all the way up, about 10.5 feet from the hook to the ground. And I don't know, give or take, maybe from the vise out about 2 feet up from the truck. That's all the way up and out. 1,000-pound rating. All the way up and out from the side, we get about 43 inches from the hook to the truck. So I'll boom all the way out and all the way down. Got probably, it's over 9 feet to the pulley, but it's probably not quite 9 feet to the hook. And then 33 inches from the end of the vise out. And boom down and out from the edge of the truck to the hook is 57 inches, so that's almost 5 feet, so that's not bad. That's not bad at all. So you gain a good 2 feet. You gain a good 2.5 feet when you boom up from that position. That's all right. See, the compressor, the oil drain is there, and then the compressor stuff's, you know, the compressor oil and air filters inside that box. To service my compressor, it's best to take it off. You see, it's a couple feet short, maybe 2 feet short. So if I could build some kind of extension to go there, I could pick up my compressor myself and service it, and that would be huge. So as you can see, it's not a perfect system. It's very manual. It has its limitations, but easy to install. It's affordable. It's easy to maintain. See, the remote just unplugs from there. I coil that up and throw that in my cabinet. The jack, you just wind her up, that slides out, and I just throw it in there. Shut the battery switch off, and that's it. Whoa, look at my new door. Yeah, so it's, I don't know, it's a pretty good system. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to get out in the workforce and actually use it. I'm gonna see if I can maybe try to get it certified and get a certification sticker on it. If you need it for something like this, so when I'm on these fancy safety sensitive sites, I'm allowed to use it. I'll see how that process goes. But yeah, man, that's awesome. So instead of waiting until the future, whenever that is, where I build a new deck and get a big fancy crane, I made the best of it, and I got this little guy and restructured my deck, and it should be fine. I don't see any issues with it. Just you know, backyard engineering at its finest. So that's cool. I'm stoked about that. We'll talk to you later, guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves.